Hello, everybody. So, today we are going to talk about the new Art Element texture. So, there are two different types of texture. Firstly, real texture. And secondly, implied texture. So now let's talk about the differences between the two textures. So firstly, what is real texture? Real texture is an item that we can hold, touch, feel. As you can see here, I am just grabbing and holding, and you can see I'm using my sense of touch to the fullest. And that's what real texture is. We can use our sense of touch. So now moving on from real texture, let's go on to implied texture. As you can see here, we have a drawing of the same hammer that I was touching and using earlier on. And clearly I'm unable to touch it or feel or get any sense of touch from texture. But by looking and recognizing what I used before and how it felt, I will get another sense of texture, such as example in the handle, in the hammer there. Recapping, this is what implied texture truly is. So now we're going to talk about how you or I may show or demonstrate texture in our drawings. To demonstrate texture in my drawings, to do this, we are going to use a new technique called collage. So before we begin, we're going to have to go through the technique or term of collage. So, firstly, what is a collage? A collage is an art form where different materials, such as paper, are glued to a flat surface to create a new and very textural work. So before we begin, I'm just going to etch out and mark out my A5 square, as that's what she will be working on for the majority of the lesson. So then, for my next question, I'm going to ask myself, what is my primary source? And so I decided to choose a light bulb because I felt it was the most fitting and it would fit in my A5 page quite comfortably. Then, same as usual, when it comes to drawing my work, I'm going to do 75% looking and 25% drawing. This will allow me to get a really good outline and sketch of my work and have a comfortable, nice looking image. So now I'm just going to begin drawing the outline of my work. I'm only going to go with the outline and just some more important details, but nothing really serious drawing wise. Just a nice outline so I know what area I'd like to leave blank, because I'm going to do a very textural background effect. So once I finished my drawing, I'm going to come up with a few ideas for a possible background effect. So I just started drawing some geometric shapes just to see what I like as a background. And I circled the one I like the most. Now that I've chosen my background, I'm just going to bring in some of my colored paper that I'm going to use for my background. And just to demonstrate my health and safety, I'll always cut away, never towards myself. So I'll always cut away and I'll just cut my paper, as you can see here. And then I'll start applying it to my background using my different types of glue. Today I decided to use my PVA adhesive glue, but in class I think we'll be using Prick Stick. So for now I'm just going to leave my work in pieces on the paper before I start applying glue, so I can just get an idea of how it will look and how it will feel, and if I'm happy with it. Once I'm certain I'm happy with my design idea, I'm just going to start applying some glue to the back end of my work pieces and sticking them down, all but certainly. And I'll repeat this process throughout the work. Decided for stylistic sake, I wanted to apply different colors to make it a gradient, and so I decided to get some different colors such as yellow, orange, and different variations of green, and I'll begin applying those to the matrix or flat surface as well, just to make it a bit more of an interesting background. So now I'm just going to speed up the video here into a time lapse. As you can see, I'm applying the glue to all different spots and sticking them down, just ensuring that everything's stuck down safely and correctly and that nothing will fall out of the page. So there's going to be no difficulties, and bang, we're done. So now I think it's time to worry about the primary source in the middle. I decided to get a piece of cardboard and cut out the outline of my primary source. I felt it would look a bit better and it would stand out a bit more if it was on top of the background rather than me trying to colour it into the background. But this is just a design choice. It's up to yourselves. If you want to change, you can change. So just to demonstrate, that's my light bulb there and it lines up nearly perfectly. So now I'm going to take away the page and the light bulb, and I'm going to begin using a new medium, which is chalk, as a way to demonstrate my drawing. Before I use chalk, I'm just going to make my life a lot easier, and I'm going to outline everything using a pencil, and then after this a pen, just so it stands out that bit more. I just want to make sure that I have everything marked in and everything is looking well, so I'm not guessing when it comes to chalk, because unfortunately chalk is quite a permanent medium. So once you put something to paper, like pen, it was really a bit of a struggle to get it off. So now that I've finished my outline of pen, I'm just going to begin applying white to my chalk layer, and this will show all of my highlights that are in my light bulb. So all of the small dashes and dots of the effective light, I'll just quickly mark them in and etch them in. Then I'll get my second darkest tones and I'll mark them in as well, so where they belong. And finally my third darkest, and then I will apply black later to mark out my darkest. I'll firstly smudge these all in, make sure they mix well, and then I'm going to start applying my lightest lights again, making that glass-like effect, and just continue working. So, as you can see here, I'm using my white, I'm using a bit of my black now to create that grey and get that dark outline of it. So my darkest darks are coming in now, and my lightest lights are here, and I'm just adding and getting that bit of an outline, and now we are sorted. So finally now, the last step in the process, I'm going to put my light bulb into the textural background, and hopefully it'll stand out like it does here. So all I need to do is just get my glue, so for me my PVA glue, and I'm just going to line the background with it here. Obviously we'll be using prick sticks, so you'll just have to stick either the back or just the back of the cardboard or whatever paper you want to use, and we'll just apply it and stick it down. So I'd like to thank you all for watching. I'm going to show you the final piece, and goodbye.